Hey team, welcome back to another episode of Heroes and Videos. Today we're going to be talking about some new comics that I picked up recently. We're going to be looking at some Avengers characters. A green powerhouse shows up in the latest issue of Thor. Some Spider-Man going on here. And we're going to start and finish with, there may be a new Legion, perhaps. The Legion of Superheroes, maybe not. And some X-Men. And we're going to start and finish with a couple of Marvel's television powerhouses on Disney Plus. So stick around to the end. We're also going to be talking about the new Daredevil comic and the new Daredevil series, Born Again. So stick around to the end of the episode. In the meantime, I would love it if you'd hit like, subscribe to the channel, do all that wonderful YouTube stuff that keeps this channel thriving and here for you as often as I can get it out to you. I mentioned we were starting and finishing with some Marvel TV stuff. First up is WonderMan #1, this new series. I don't know, this is Jerry Dugan. I don't know if this is an ongoing or just a mini. It's just got a really cool look on the cover there. And it's kind of a mesh between, it says on the cover here, Hollywood's greatest comic magazine, a tip of the hat kind of to the old Fantastic Four issues. It is very much in the line of leaning into Hollywood, Simon Williams. It does a great job, as good of a job as I've seen with this character, of combining his semi-spoilers. I'm not going to spoil too much of these books. Combining his Hollywood career with the industrial side of him, the side of Simon Williams that frankly was only really shown in that first issue, Avengers 9, which I meant to have out, but I didn't feel like digging it out. I'll have to show that at a future episode. But he was a failed industrialist, and they've touched on that very briefly in other books, but only that first Avengers #9, where he first appeared, and he's this failed industrialist that then turned evil. Spoilers for a 60-year-old book, but his later, when they reintroduced the character, he's never really been about that. I've always had trouble reconciling that industrialist or that character in the first story with the Simon Williams that we've all come to know and love over the years since. This comic does a really good job of reconciling that. There are a lot of flashbacks in it from his time in prison, from his trying to kind of connect the dots between that Simon Williams when he first appeared, that character, and as well as reconciling with the struggling actor that he is and that he was for a while in the comics and now apparently is again. There's some great guest spots in here. There's some characters that are going to be showing up or that do show up that I'm interested in terms of some great dynamics in this book. Again, don't want to spoil it for you, but it's also very fun. I mean, some neat fun things happen in this too. It looks like they're trying to somewhat merge the character of the TV show with the Simon Williams that we've had for years. But I really do love this. If you like Wonder Man at all in any of his iterations, you'll enjoy this book. So you should be checking it out. Next up is kind of a crazy DC book. I don't know if you remember Mad Magazine back in the day. If you are of a certain generation, my own there, I would say, baby boomers and maybe millennials, you might remember Mad Magazine. Well, this is DC and Mad Magazine, and it's actually pretty funny. I'm trying to find one gag that's in here that's great. There's the 5 different people that you meet at Comic-Con. There's Guy Gardner, Guy versus Spy, if you remember the Spy versus Spy stuff. It's almost like a mashup, like Marvel and DC when they would do that amalgam or whatever things where they're taking these ideas from DC Comics and putting them in with the mad kind of oddball stuff. I'm trying to think. Oh, this is the one. I'm going to spoil this for you. This is when I really laughed out loud at this book because, like I say, it's a series of one-panel things. This is, I don't know if you remember when Jim Starlin in DC decided to give Jason Todd the 800 number treatment, where they said, hey, we'll leave it up to the readers if you want Robin, or the new Robin, Jason Todd, to live or die in this Batman story. Sorry for the glare. And and people voted for him to die, and this is just this cracked me up. This Robin died because over 5,000 of you called the wrong number. Now you can call again to apologize, and it's got the two sets of 800 numbers. I am really, really sorry I voted for Robin to die, and then I am really, really, really sorry. Please don't hurt me. Just down at the bottom it reads, "Hi, I'm Red Hood, formerly Robin. In 1988, 5,343 of you called a premium rate phone number, or to vote to let the Joker murder me. Bad news, buddy. It didn't stick. This is one 80s revival you can't ignore. I have a lot of unresolved anger issues." Obviously, this is Jason Todd speaking. And he's got the time to pay 5,343 house calls. Apologize now, and maybe I won't need to. You will be charged 50 cents for each call. If you don't call, you're really going to pay. But it just kind of cracked me up that here's this ad. He's got the crowbar and the Red Hood. Now he's got, of course, the little bleach stripe in his hair. But it's just kind of cute. It takes you back. There's a lot of really funny stuff in there, and that's one that really cracked me up. I was thinking there was one more in here that really threw me, but I don't see it off the top of my head here. But it's just kind of neat, fun, just a neat kind of fun book there. So Mad About DC. I don't know if there are going to be more of those coming up. Honestly, I'm not sure they're from the same publisher, but it's pretty cool. Amazing Spider-Man number 26 is up next as we are hurtling towards the 1,000th issue. This is that character Torment is in the background there, doing this spiral thing where he's killing various family members, like extended family members, and it seems like he's doing the Ancestry.com sort of thing with the Watsons and the Brocks and the Parkers, and working his way towards them, but only can kill people in certain orders. You see here on this cover, if you weren't already aware, Venom and Mary Jane, I almost said hooked up, that's creepy. Venom and Mary Jane Mary Jane is currently cohabitating with Venom, and that's Pete there, or excuse me, Spider-Man in the foreground. Never really liked when the lenses, like in the TV show when they would blink and whatnot. That's always looked weird to me. It looks a lot like Deadpool in that shot. But this book's good. There's an alternate cover here behind me, which I had to check out, their Ultimate Farewell. With the Ultimate Universe Spider-Man and Mary Jane on that cover. It just looked, it's just such a cool cover. Had to pick it up. But Amazing Spider-Man is looking good, and you should be reading that current. What is the name of the crossover? The Death Spiral, as that is also spiraling its way to a conclusion. Sorry about the bad pun. I mentioned the Legion earlier. Now this isn't the Legion per se. But Action Comics is currently, after the events of DCKO, Action Comics is covering Superboy, and it's Superboy, I guess the revised version, if you will. It's not Superboy Jonathan Kent. It's Clark as a teen. And so apparently Superboy is back to being a thing, like pre-crisis, if you will, where this is the story of Superboy, Clark Kent growing up in Smallville, and he's visited by this trio of two guys and a girl from the future. And no, it's not the Legion, Lightning Lad, Saturn Girl, and Cosmic Boy. It is Booster Gold, Mary Marvel, and John Jones, Martian Manhunter, which is pretty neat. And they make for kind of a fun trio. So it's interesting, all the hijinks you can imagine that, Booster with his big mouth trying to not spoil the future. Mark Waid, if that entices you, Mark Waid is writing it. Which is just fantastic, because he also does Justice League Unlimited and World's Finest. He is literally putting out the best stuff DC's got out right now, at least in terms of like their mainstream line. So it's a good fun book, Action Comics, and that's coming up on 1100. That's issue 1097. Uncanny X-Men number 26, Legacy 726, I think. These books have been crushing it. This is Uncanny is the Louisiana X-Men, as they refer to themselves in this very book. I'd forgotten that Gambit and Rogue were married, but that's the thing. And they've got these four we've been thinking of them as New Mutants, but they're younger mutants that this team of Wolverine, Jubilee, Nightcrawler, Gambit, Rogue, and I know I'm missing at least one that maybe not, that they're training these younger mutants. I'm really not sure, even after reading the story, who we're looking at there. My first guess would be Kitty Pryde, just because of the outfit, but I don't think she's really in that outfit anymore. It, it I don't think it's Cyclops. But again, sorry, semi-spoilers. I read the story. I don't know that it's revealed who that is, but there's a bit of a mystery going on in the book. And I'm just really enjoying this book. And this is the beginning of another storyline. So pick up Uncanny X-Men 26. I mentioned a couple of Avengers here. This is two of the big three. Iron Man has got a new book, Iron Man Dissembled. Iron Man number is, Dissembled is not the title of the book. It's just, I guess, the arc. Madame Mask, tomato, you pick your poison there. She and Tony have always had a very interesting relationship. It's also interesting in this run. This is the Fixers in the mix as well. It's really really good story. I'm not really sure how I feel about that cover. Something doesn't look right about the head perspective with the armor, but I guess that would be the case because the armor would be bulkier and therefore the head would look smaller, but the head looks a little small to me. I don't know who did the art on that, and again, appreciative of anybody who has any talent whatsoever. So I could never draw like that. So this is, kudos to that, even though I'm kind of picking it apart a little bit. It is a really good story. The gist of it is what would happen if it's almost like a Batman thing where he built to see what would, how could he be taken out. Tony has built some protocols to say, how he would put himself through paces or whatever to where he could be better. He could create, and so the gist of it, or the idea being, if you're put under serious pressure like he was in the cave many years ago, or I guess it wasn't a cave in the comics, when he was kidnapped and tortured, and he then created the Iron Man outfit. What would happen if you took some of the greatest minds today and put them through that same kind of torture? Would you then generate phenomenal ideas? Don't know if I agree with that kind of pressure and threat being what causes people to perform well, and maybe that's going to be the point of the story, but I am enjoying it. It's good. Now, the green-skinned behemoth that showed up in Thor this month is not quite the green-skinned behemoth you might have thought. Not a beautiful cover, though. Thing almost looks radioactive, the way it's glowing. I mean, it's just, it just leaps off the page. And that is indeed the Radioactive Man. Mortal Thor bogged down a little bit for me a few issues ago, but this one goes back to just crushing it. It's a wonderful interaction between a very mortal Thor, or is he Thor? Don't really know at this point. Facing off against the Radioactive Man. There's some beautiful art in this. I don't want to spoil it by showing it to you, but Mortal Thor is really back, I guess, is a good way to put it. I enjoyed the last issue too, I think, which took place primarily in Asgard. So this book has been very interesting read. So check out Mortal Thor, Legacy number 795. So I'm guessing this current numbering is not long for this world. If Legacy is 795, I think you know where I'm going with that. And last up is Daredevil number 1, the new Daredevil series. Legacy, smaller than I can squint to read. 688 maybe? I don't know. But this is the blind bag cover I got, the Peach Momoko. It is a beautiful book. I'm going to show you a little bit of the insides there. The art is really phenomenal in this book. The colors, the shading, it's very moody, very dark. It's not quite, I see, look at that. What a great 2-page spread there. Or what a great couple of pages, I guess I should say. Introduction of a new villain. I believe it's a new villain. There's a mystery, there's murder going on. Best part to me of the book is the potential introduction of a new perhaps love interest for Matt. A little bit of a spoiler, he's teaching law now, so that's a kind of a new start, new phase in his life. But he's just got that wonderful quirkiness where he's, he's Matt Murdock, and he's a bit of a, what do they call him, himbo, sort of like, Hawkeye and Matt are kind of a bit of ladies' men, if you will. And it's just neat because it differentiates them from other characters. So Daredevil #1, hop on board. You don't really need to know anything about it's a clean break from whatever was going on in the previous volumes. So pick up Daredevil. And that leads me to the new series. So I don't know if you're up to speed. At the time of this filming, 4 episodes are out. For me at least, and spoilers from here on out. If you don't want to hear any spoilers, I'll go semi-spoilers. But if you don't want to hear anything about it, check out one of my other videos. Go Bronze and Modern Gods, or Casually Comics, or one of the other many Brian loves collecting Spidey. I'm missing a number of you guys. I'm so sorry. Lunch Money Comics, one of those, folks. Go check out their stuff instead. Come back after you've seen Daredevil Born Again 2, or Season 2. But gotta say, every single episode is getting better. The folks that have seen them, I don't get any kind of pre-release stuff. But as I'm watching them as they roll out, everyone's gotten better and better. 3rd episode, full disclosure, I owe you an apology, showrunners. I fell asleep a couple times during the 3rd episode, but it was not the episode. It was just because I was watching it way too late. So the first couple episodes are great. Last season it had kind of a feel where you could sort of tell the fact that there were 2 different show running teams. It was a little disjointed. This season is not that. This season it knows where it's going. And the first couple episodes are good. If we're talking out of 10, I'd say solid 6. But then episode 3, once I did watch it clear-eyed and wide awake for the thing, I'm so sorry I fell asleep. I did catch the big fight scene that everybody's talking about the first time around. That, I guess maybe that woke me up. That was incredible. I'm not a super big fan of those quick jump cuts. I know it's not a cut, but when they kind of cheat when they're swinging the camera around, and you can tell it's not a clean one shot, if you will. I don't know if they're using CGI kind of fight and stuff for that, like they did with the Roadhouse remake. And I love that movie, but it kind of throws you the way sometimes they're doing the fight scenes and stunts. It struck me as very Roadhouse-esque, if that's a thing. The entirety of the 3rd episode was really, really good. Again, I can't believe I fell asleep during that. I do apologize to everybody involved in the production of that. That was me. The 3rd show was great. The 4th one takes it up a whole nother level. One of the more fun opening scenes and entertaining opening scenes that I've seen in any Marvel show. Fairly gory, at parts, but there's a character, and again, I don't want to spoil too much, but you may probably have seen this in a trailer, but there's a character they brought back that they're using very well, and better than he's been used in any medium, I think, up till this point. And I'm sure you know who I'm speaking of. I don't know that I need to, paint a target on it, or I don't know. I'm talking around bullseye as much as I can, but that's who it is, and it's just I have no idea where this is going from here. But by the end of the episode, jaw drops. It's just really good. The Kingpin stuff. Vincent D'Onofrio is crushing it. Charlie Cox is crushing it. Deborah Ann Woll's crushing it. They're all crushing it. It's the guy that plays Bullseye. It's just even the is his name Daniel Blake? I believe it's James Gandolfini's son that's playing that character. That's a character I wasn't a big fan of in the first season. I'm starting to like this guy, or at least enjoy where they're taking this character. So, absolutely check out Daredevil Born Again. catch up, watch this show. It is really, really good. So that is it for this week's episode of Heroes and Videos. As always, thanks for sticking around. Keep reading comics, keep going to see movies in theaters, and be kind to each other.